Welcome to another episode of Health 360, where we look into the most critical health topics of our time. Today we're addressing a topic that's been disturbingly frequent. Imagine people suddenly collapsing and tragically passing away. This phenomenon has gotten many of us worried and disturbed. I am Blessing Oduni, and with me is my co-host
Solomon Ededo. Today's episode is especially focused on the silent killers. Those things that we don't pay attention to but that are harming us and are capable of taking us suddenly. So join us today as we look at some important things that we feel you need to pay attention to and what are the possible causes of sudden deaths.
Well, there are many factors responsible for sudden collapse and death. Imagine there are several factors, but there is one, the most common one is sudden cardiac arrest, popularly known or referred to as SCA. So what happens is, instead of, unlike the heart attack that the blood there's like a blockage in the arteries. Yeah. This one is caused by the electrical malfunction. So it's you might not know, but our heart operates like an electrical system. So when there's an electrical malfunction, it causes the heart to stop suddenly. Yeah. And if that is not treated immediately or within minutes, it could lead to death. So that's one cause of sudden collapse.
Another thing we need to consider is the hypertension. We have done an exclusive on hypertension for a while. A whole episode, you should look at it. It can lead to heart attack, can lead to stroke and other deadly conditions that, you need to continually monitor it. That's why it's important, when we said in that video that you need to know your numbers, we are not exaggerating.
Very, very
you need to know your numbers.
And then picking it up from this hypertension, there's another one, stroke. So when stroke comes to mind, what exactly happens? It means that normally there will be blood flow to the brain. So blood flow to the brain causes our brain to be active. You're able to think, you're able to come up with strategies and ideas and everything. But this case of stroke occurs when the blood flow to the brain is stopped. Like imagine blood flowing somewhere and then it gets stopped immediately. Yeah. It could lead to the death of the brain cells, and then it could escalate into some other conditions. But do you even know that according to WHO, stroke is the leading cause of death in Nigeria? Wow. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, wow. So it means that many people, nearly almost 50% of individuals that are diagnosed with stroke die that particular month of being diagnosed with this condition. So it's actually very, very important to note that stroke is another cause of sudden death.
And one other cause that we are going to be looking at is the deep vein thrombosis. This usually occurs when there is blood clotting in the deep vein, usually around the legs. And the risk factor is prolonged sitting and inactivity. Yeah. And what happens is when there is clotting, this automatically leads to a crisis that can, take someone's life. So it is very important that you ensure regular activity, you move around, and then avoid sitting down for too long. Also, when you suddenly feel your inability to move, inability to speak, most of these symptoms, they are sudden, they are sharp. So the moment you start feeling that, just if you can signal to someone to help you, but the moment you feel that, consult your health professional
as soon as possible. It is important to note that those symptoms or those conditions we've spoken about in this episode, they come suddenly. So they might not show symptoms for the longest time, but by the time they eat in a very, very hard way. So what you want to do well, to seek medical consultation. Regular checkups, very, very important. We cannot overemphasize this. Ensure that you visit the hospital and seek quality healthcare from time to time. Another thing you have to do is educate people around you, your loved ones. Tell them, when last did you go to the hospital? When last do you know your numbers? So you could even use it to joke around with them, because it is very, very important. And these things or those tips would save us and reduce the cases of death that we have in our dear country, Nigeria.
And one other thing we need to also pay attention to is this CPR.
Do you know how to conduct a CPR?
Can you conduct CPR? Let's just
assume. TV on national TV.
So it is shocking to discover that only 1 out of 5 people can actually conduct a CPR. And as little as that may be, is actually a major determinant in the survival rate of any individual. You know, CPR can increase your survival rate by twice, even thrice of, you know, the rate you had if you didn't have CPR. So it is important that the moment you see someone collapsing suddenly, you quickly go into action. While you are calling the health professionals, while you are calling the ambulance, you do a CPR to rescue the person. It is a matter of life.
Matter of urgency.
Very urgent.
Thank you for staying tuned and joining us on this episode of L360. We hope and we know that we've been able to educate you on the causes of sudden deaths that we've been hearing about.
Thank you for joining us. I remain Solomon Ededo and
I'm Blessing Oduni. Until next time, stay healthy, stay informed, and do well to visit the hospital today.
Yes.
Remember, knowledge is the first step to prevention. Thank you so much.
Thank you.